The following program is sponsored by Happy Science.
Hello, and thank you for accepting our invitation to happiness. Ryuho Okawa is known as a global visionary because of his deep spiritual insight and commitment to guide the world to a brighter future. To accomplish this, he founded Happy Science Group in 1986, which is now a global movement in over 100 countries. His vision and message to the world goes beyond the differences of race and language, empowering people with love. Together, in this 8-series program, we will explore practical ways on how you can be happy and how you can take part in creating happiness as a society. What if I told you that life is a workbook of problems? When we face life challenges, many of us may want to avoid or escape our problems, or even become completely overwhelmed. For example, we all coexist with other people, right? Family members, coworkers, friends, and acquaintances. And a lot of us struggle with the ever-common issue of not getting along with that certain person. But what if that very person was meant to teach you a vital life lesson, or even the purpose of life? But first, let's go to the streets of New York and ask the question, what do you think is the purpose of life?
Purpose of life. It's an intense question. I would say it's legitimately to be happy and to find what it is that you like to do best and just kind of stick with that and making sure that you have people around you that support you in it.
To pursue something of interest and passion that is beneficial to both yourself and to those that surround you, that is completely devoid of malice, apathy, or greed.
Well, I think it's a discovery process where we might think we have some clues and we take some steps and then we discover some of what we think is right, and then some might be a dead end and we kind of have to regroup and try to discover something else. So it might be a little bit like the scientific process where we have a hypothesis and then we have to figure out if our hypothesis holds water.
The purpose of life is to learn. I believe that every moment that we are alive is an opportunity to learn something new.
What about you? What do you think is the purpose of life? Here's a new take from Okawa that will perhaps widen your perspective.
What I am trying to teach you today is what I must call a new outlook on humanity, on life, and on the world. Since ancient times, it has been said that there is a large tree in the universe that is called the cosmic tree. In the religious world, that is what is said. One tree, one enormous tree, that is the tree of life and all existence. It is said is in the universe, but no one has ever seen it with their own eyes. You all believe that you are living your life as an individual human. But actually, this self-recognition is incorrect. Looking from a bigger perspective, you would see that the branches of this massive tree extend far beyond the level of this earth and to all parts of the universe. If you look at it from the point of view of the earth, it appears to be one big tree growing like a pillar within the terrestrial spirit group. This immense tree of life is called El Cantare. This existence, called El Cantare, is the origin of all life on earth. All spiritual energy flows from here. There are many large boughs growing from this enormous tree of life. These large boughs are actually the different ethnic groups. The various ethnicities from the different countries are equivalent to these boughs. Then what is the factor that determines an ethnic group? It is actually religion. The differences between ethnic groups are actually the differences between religions. Ethnic groups were originally groups of people formed by individual religious leaders who had preached new teachings. From the bough of ethnic groups, many large boughs had split off as the various religions and ethnic groups flourished in many different eras. In this way, religion exists at the fundamental basis of culture and civilization. During thousands of years, one ethnic group creates a culture that has various characteristics. People reincarnate there several times while experiencing the culture of that specific religion. If you look towards the tip of this large, thick bough of an ethnic group, you can see it dividing again and again into smaller branches. There are cases where each small branch is grouped as one country. There are also cases in which a small branch goes beyond a country and stretches to various regions, such as certain regions in Asia or Europe. Another case would be that these small individual branches are spread throughout the world. The thick branch is segmented and extends to separate countries, regions, or to various groups of people who share a certain way of thinking. The branches of the cosmic tree divide one after another. The large boughs split up into many medium-sized branches, which divide into even smaller branches. At the tips of these small branches, there are an innumerable number of even thinner branches, which seem abundant with leaves. If you look at it even closer, at the tip of one of the smallest branches, there are about 6 leaves attached to it. This group of 6 leaves that grow at the tip of the branch is seen as one life form. And these groups are called soul siblings. As a general rule, a group of soul siblings consists of the core soul, which is the head, a command tower, or the center of the soul, and 5 other soul siblings. This group of 6 souls together comprises one life form. Every human soul has the energy of about 6 people. The energy of about 1/6 of the soul takes on a human body and is born to the surface. Then after a few decades of spiritual training, they return to the other world with a new personality. Everyone who is alive now will gain new experiences in this era of the 20th and 21st century, study new materials, and return to the other world with new nourishments of life. This new memory will be shared by your soul siblings. This view of life is the true view of life. Your physical body existing right here, right now, is not your true self. Your true self is much like a traveler that happens to be visiting this finite sphere called Earth, which is only a small existence in the vast universe. As a traveler, you will stay here for a few decades, but you will return to the other world after you visit. The purpose of coming to this world is to learn new lessons and obtain new knowledge. Once you know this true perspective of life and of the world, how you view things will be completely reversed. So from your point of view, you may think this is my real self. This individual that exists now is my real and only self, and everyone else is a separate person from me. You may have never heard from or seen the other world. You may have never heard about people coming back from the other world. You may not know where you came from or where you will go after this life. This attitude is normal of this world, and we are seldom taught of any other view of life, even in our education system. Only true religions can teach you the real view of life and of the world.
As you can see, we are all connected. In the universe, there is a huge tree of life, and we are all a part of this tree. We were given life and born into this world to learn new life lessons. Let's go back to the lecture to learn what these lessons are.
The massive cosmic tree divides over and over again, and the various individuals exist at the very tips of these branches. Accordingly, your soul exists at one of these tips. Now, if you follow your tip of the branch up, you will see that there are several small branches, much like yours, growing from the same big branch. These small branches are called your soulmates, and they are souls that were created around the same time as you. These souls are all related to you. When you look at your previous lives, people you are having complications or conflicts with now are actually people that you have been in many different human relationships throughout various reincarnations. For example, even if you are husband and wife now, you may have been parent and child in a previous life. Or perhaps you are father and daughter now, but in a previous life, you were actually husband and wife. Sometimes an older brother that you dearly love was actually your father in a previous life, or an uncle that is close to you and always gives you advice was actually your father in a past life. In the West, there are many divorces and remarriages. In these modern times where divorce and remarriage is constantly repeated, there are many cases where the partner or the remarriage also has some connection of fate with you. So if you find yourself experiencing divorce or remarriage, please do not think too gravely about this. The people who you have made a new connection of fate with most likely had connections with you in your previous lives. A group of souls close to you from your previous lives are born in the same time period and are supporting your life. Currently, the population is above 6 billion, and it is growing towards 7 billion people. It is almost certain that many different people from all different eras are being born all at once today. In almost every era, there's a group of close souls that you had always come to Earth with for soul training. So if your relationships with family, friends, or business partners ever collapse completely, there will always be soulmates or soul friends that have spiritual connection with you that appear among your new relationships you make. In most cases, these soul friends will step out to help you. A lifespan already lasts as long as 80 to 90 years these days, so I am sure that there is a wide variety of things that can happen in life. So please do not think of fate as something fixed or immovable. Please know that there are always friends of your soul or soulmates who are supporting your life. I believe you'll meet someone in your lifetime that especially captivates your heart. This does not happen just between men and women, but also happens between women and between men. Even though they are not your relatives, you feel as though they are close family members. You may gain a lifelong friendship with someone who feels like a distant friend. Maybe there was a person who had guided you to the teachings of the truth, and who you became Dharma friends that spend decades together with. There are these types of connections, and soulmates actually do exist. There may be people struggling to rebuild their lives or people who are amidst a huge swirl of guilt. Yet, please know that life is not that simple. Being born in various time periods, you play different roles as you reincarnate over and over again, constantly switching roles in relationships. People are always going through life training. It is possible that the person who is your mother now was actually your child at some point. It is also possible that the people who you are rivaling were actually your siblings in your previous life. So when we want to figure out the meaning of life, we must think about it to a much deeper level. Now that you are aware of this truth, when you meditate, I would like you to think of a person that has made a strong impression in your life and think about whether that person has a special connection to your soul through fate. I think that there is a group of about 20 to 30 people close to you. These people all have a spiritual connection. This group of people is actually deciding and will most likely determine the happiness and unhappiness of your life. In almost all cases, you have met these people because you were meant to meet in this life. In your life training, there are people who you are absolutely required to meet. It is arranged so that you will, without fail, meet these people at least once in your lifetime. There are some that will treat you with the warmest kindness, but there are also some that will teach you with a strictness or provide you with a trial in life. Nonetheless, they are the ones whom you absolutely must meet. This is, in a sense, a workbook of life. You must meet certain people as a part of a workbook and solve the issues you had with them in your past life. It is an assignment that you have carried over from your previous lives, and you must solve them in this lifetime. For example, in a past life, you may have had a great relationship as a parent and child, brother and sister, or husband and wife. Yet through the course of life, something happened between the two, and you became to hate each other. In these cases, you must meet again in this lifetime in a different relationship and test how you will treat the other. In most cases of love-hate problems that arise in relationships, especially when the relationships are with people who have a deep influence on your life, they are problems carried over from a past life. This problem from the workbook of life is a problem you must solve, and it is a part of God's plan for you. Please do not think you are facing suffering because you just happen to have bad luck. It is better to think that that is a problem from the workbook of life that you have been given. Without knowing this true perspective of life, it is very likely that you will live on thinking that you are individuals that are completely isolated from each other. There may waver between joy and sorrow, and their hearts may sway back and forth between a heavenly and hellish state of mind. There is a single great tree in the universe, and all souls are actually connected to each other. You may compete to win or lose in this competitive society. But remember that your opponents are not your absolute enemies or rivals. They are people who you have met many times through numerous reincarnations. I would like you to know that we are all spiritually connected by this single great tree. This is why I am teaching to love. Please love one another. You must love each other. I am saying this because you are not strangers to each other. Every single person is connected. Everybody's life energy is connected to the same root of life. There are many people that you have met in the various eras and regions. There should be many life dramas taking place within all of this. In this context, I would like you to know that you have a deep connection with the people you meet. That is why I tell you to love each other. The people who are close to you are all connected to the same branch of the tree of life. It is a sin to hate or loathe each other. It is a sin. This is because you would be loathing, damaging, and trying to cut off another branch that is connected to the same bough of life as you. It is often said that jealousy and hatred exist at the opposite end of love. But I would like you to overcome this. Because you think you are completely separate from others, you compete and grow jealous of them. But they are actually fellow soulmates. In many cases, the person that you despise and feel hatred for has an extremely deep spiritual connection to you. And that person is someone you have met many, many times in your previous lives. This is why I tell you, stop hurting each other. Stop speaking badly of each other. Do not be jealous of others, but bless them instead, and you will be able to develop your own soul too. Today, so much hatred and conflicts are born because of the differences in race or religion. But that is only because they do not understand this truth. If we understand that we are actually all branches from the same tree trunk, then war and hatred will have to vanish from this earth. The purpose of the movement of Happy Science is to teach this to everybody. In this regard, Happy Science is trying to unite the world. We are trying to bring peace and abundance to this world in the truest sense. As a religious leader, in order to open the doors for everybody's happiness in the future, I am looking out from the era now forward into the 22nd, 23rd, 25th, 30th, 40th, 50th century, and much beyond. Thinking about an era very far ahead, I feel that a solid foundation of the superiority of faith is necessary. Even if we are successful in this world, we only live for a few decades and rarely more than 100 years. If that success goes against the great laws of the universe, and it is undesirable for the success of a branch from the tree of life, then it will become a broken branch or withered leaves before long. Success that goes against the cosmic laws of life will dissolve to bitter emptiness. The law of compensation says that if you want to gain something, you need to abandon something. It also says that there is nothing to gain without perseverance and devotion, and that the compensation of what you pay for is equivalent to the value of what you will gain. This law of compensation works in the matters of this world too. This world uses it as a principle of choice. It is also used as a principle of economy or success. However, the most important thing is, after all, what you pay in compensation for the sake of your faith. The greatest thing in the law of compensation is actually right here. How much can you cast away the things of this world and follow the truth? That is what Buddha and Christ both preached as well. We are saying, cast away the things of this world. That is a law of compensation. Those who are not attached to worldly things and live their lives with a spiritual attitude, a divine attitude, who look at things from the viewpoint of the next world, from the viewpoint of God and the Buddha, those people will be able to sit close to God and the Buddha.
Now we can see that all of us have a meaningful connection with the people in our lives. They can be called soulmates or kindred spirits. And these very people are here to help you through the journey of life. Even those you don't get along with are people you have met many times in the past, your past lives. There are many people you are destined to encounter as part of your workbook of life. We are all connected through this tree of life, so we must overcome our differences and create a world in which we love one another. If you can believe in this simple truth, you will learn from valuable life lessons and continue to improve as a soul.
If you would like to learn more about Okawa and the teachings of happy science, visit ryuho-okawa.com or call us at 1-404-892-7770. Here at Atlanta Temple, you will find all of Okawa's publications. We are here to support you in solving your workbook of life. Come join us for weekly Sunday workshops, weeknight study and meditation sessions, and open seminars.
Once again, thank you for accepting our invitation to happiness, and join us next week where we will explore ways to harmonize relationships. See you next time. You can learn more about your soulmate in Ryuho Okawa's Change Your Life, Change the World, a spiritual guide to living now. For more information, visit okawabooks.com.
There's something about reading Master Okawa's work that is a comfort, and at the same time it's inspiring, because he's talking about living through more than one lifetime and how we are connected to one another in this lifetime and in others. And that is a message that those of us trying to live a modern life could really use and apply directly in daily life.
I finally understand what it's all about. Life, love, happiness. It is only through my understanding of love, wisdom, self-reflection, and progress did my life begin to shine. I encourage future generations to learn and study the truth, as it has the power to restore peace and harmony throughout the world. Now it is your moment to change your life and change the world.
The preceding program was sponsored by Happy Science.